Good day, family. My name is Simanga Makhubu, and this is the Big Daddy, a football corner. And I'm back once again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be doing the pre-match opposition tactical analysis between Orlando Pirates and MC Alger. It's CAF Champions League quarterfinals. Ziyenzeka, ziyabuya. First leg played in Algeria. It's going to be played on the 1st of April. And by the way, this is not April's Fool's, right? The game is going to happen, right? It's going to be played at 5th July 1962 Stadium. Guys, CAF Champions League is back. Now we back to watch great football in the African continent. Guys, in this episode, we're just going to go and look at the opposition that is going to play against Orlando Pirates, which is MC Alger. We will look at their tactical setup. We'll look at any threats that they possess. We'll look at any weaknesses that they might have observed in the match that they just recently played in the league. We'll also look at as well as what Orlando Pirates needs to avoid against this club from Algeria. For me, when I've watched these guys, they played to a 2-2 draw, their last match, and that's the game that I watched the full 90 minutes just to get a picture of what they are. Also, a little bit of highlights in their CAF Champions League match. For me, they play similar to Orlando Pirates in terms of their game model. It's almost similar to Orlando Pirates. They look to play the ball. They are a club that likes to play the ball, and they always also have this positional play, in part of their game model. But the difference with them and Pirates is that they look to play the ball very, very quickly. They also play at a very high intensity, at a high pace, and they look to get into the final third, very quickly. They've got an amazing squad, players with good technical ability. They've also tactically sound, by the way, and they're able to carry through instruction, in the entire 90 minutes. They are not so much of a physical team, but hey, don't take them for granted. Aerially, they are very, very dangerous. As I said, they are very, 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 very comfortable on the ball. They've got patient build-ups when they do their build-ups, but as I said, they move the ball quicker. So when they do their build-ups is to move, the traffic in front of them, is to move the defensive lines in front of them. But they move the ball a little bit quicker than Orlando Pirates, searching for those gaps, in between those defensive lines. But their intention is to play the ball very quickly once a gap opens up. And as soon as they play the ball into that gap, they quickly support the attack, with numbers and aggressively so. So maybe let's look a little bit of MC Alger. They are currently first in their log, right? They are ahead. Number 2 is they're 7 points ahead of number 2. They have played 20 games and they have scored 27 goals. And they are the third in terms of goals scored. They are third in the league. In terms of goal conceded, they've conceded 14. And they are third as well into it. So they are not a team that scores a lot of goals, not a team that concedes a lot of goals. They are just there in between. Their top goal scorer currently is their right back, Ujersey number 5, Mohamed Halamia, and he has scored 5 goals. Already that should tell you that they are not so much of a goal scoring team, right? In CAF Champions League, if you look at their log standing, they were number 2, obviously, because they are playing number 1. And they, out of 6 games, they score 4 goals and think they've conceded 2 goals. So you can see that the team is, in terms of goals scored, they're not so great. And goal conceded, they're also not great. Then in terms of their formation, they play with a 4-3-3 formation. But there's a lot that I observed, especially in how they do their build-ups. As mentioned, the ball playing team, right? And then on their right-hand side of midfield, they've got an aggressive midfielder who tucks into his starting position is on the right. and then he tucks in onto the inside 8 numbers into midfield. Jersey number 22, I think, is one of the 2 black players that I've picked up from the team. His name is Zipre Zinon, and I think he's a central midfielder more than a winger, right? On the left side of midfield, they've got one of their best players. You know, he's their poster boy. He's one of the most technically gifted players in the team. He's a little magician, and he always finds solution and also score goals. Currently, after 20 games, he has scored 4 goals, and he's one of the shortest players in the team, and he wears jersey number 10. That already must tell you something about him. His name is Zakaria Naiji, and he's about 30 years old, right? And then in terms of how they play out, they use more the left back side, right? I think they have an incredible left back. You know, they use the left back as an outlet. Jersey number 3, they call him Umiwen Khalif. I think for me, he's one of the quickest players into this team. He offers width in that, especially when they're in position, and they always look for him to be able to go forward, give them the width, and he's got speed, and he attack that left channel with speed. He's a very, very brilliant player. You know, he's one of my favorite players into the team, and Orlando Pirates need to find a way how they can pin him back, just like they pinned Peko Pasatini in the game against a team from Stade, you know, from Cape Town. He is more Pasatini kind of a left back, but he's more taller and more quicker. And I think for me, he's one of their great players, right? They also have one of the most gifted ball playing center back. They're number 27, you know, Abelkader Menelza. For me, he's one of the most critical players into their going model, because he plays like a deep lying player maker. He's got the vision, you know, he's got the ability to find the attackers running. So he's the one that always finds solutions for them, you know, especially when there's traffic in the central corridor. He's the one that is able to put the balls over the defensive line, especially because some of the teams, they play a little bit of a high line, right? And then also they've got players that run in the shoulders of the defenders, you know, into that, and he's able to find them with a clean pass. He's one of the most gifted ball playing players into the team. When they play number 7, which is Sofiane Bayazid, you know, they are looking for speed, you know, because he's the one that runs, you know, when the balls are played over the defensive line, he's one that runs, or even run on the shoulders of defenders, is one that runs. But if they change and they play their number 9 as well, one of the black guys into the team, Usalio Pangora, he's about 20 years old. He's big, he's strong, he's got speed, but he's a little bit aggressive. They're able to play second post from him. They also used to play they also use his ability to hold into the ball to play the second ball. They also use him as well to play crosses into the box, because he's also very good in the air. He also scored a very, very incredible goal against the team that was trying to play a high line. So to me, Orlando Pirates, it's a warning, right? They always, they always look to play the ball in the middle, but most of their attack, they seem to attempt to play in the middle, and then they use the channel, but they use the left channel more to play out, and then they lose obviously long balls, as I mentioned in this instance. So if they happen to get into the crossing zones, right, they are always looking to play the ball into the far post. So whenever you are on the left hand side, you will always going to look at them to cross the ball into the far post, as well as when we are on the other side. But then also they've got this, Orlando Pirates must be careful, because there are also any crosses that comes as well from them before they even get into the crossing zone, and the more when they're in the creation zone, and they always look at the fast post as well. They are also very, very dangerous on transition. Orlando Pirates need to sort out their rest defense. They cannot afford to play a high line against this team, you know, because the goal that I'm talking about that was scored by Upangora, you know, is almost similar to the goal that was scored by Ribeiro against Orlando Pirates on the 8th of February, you know, at Loftus. Then out of possession, they tend to play a 2-2 rest defense. At times they play a 3-1 rest defense. And if there is an opportunity that I think Orlando Pirates have, is to catch them on transition, because they always leave spaces. You know, a 2-2 rest defense always leave spaces, on the left and even on the right. And from let's look at their set piece game, whether it's a far or near lateral free kick. They always want to drive in swings inside the box, and they use the aerial threat, because they do have it, Uche's number 27 just scored in their last game from such a scenario. And Orlando Pirates needs to avoid fouls near the box, where the ball is going to obviously play inside the box. Just like all North Africans, on set piece, they are lethal and a danger there. They might not seem like big boys, but when you pump the ball inside the box, they've got players that are very good on the air. Then if you look at their corner kicks in attack, right, they're almost similar in terms of how they defend and how they attack, right? In terms of attack, they always have one player in the near post, and then they will have 4 players that are outside the 6-yard area, right? And then at times they will have a player inside the 6-yard, and at times that player is just a runner, that is able to just run around so that to open the space for the 4 players that are always looking to crush that particular box. And the ball is always played just in front of the 6-yard area or close to the 6-yard area, and they've got all 4 players crashing. I think their best headers sit into those, right? Then they also have got 2 players that will react to second balls, and then they will have obviously 2 players that are defending. Now, in terms of how they defend their corner kicks, which is something very strange. I don't know whether it's an Algerian thing, because they always do man marking than zonal. So you will have 6 or 7 players all man marking in how they defend their corner kicks. So only one, guarding the near post, and then they will have 2 players that are actually clearing, so that are clearing players that are able to start Emma counter attacks, right? So, but there is something interesting on how they defend their corner kicks. There is always a vacant space that Orlando Pirates needs to attack. They need runners that can drag people into that position, but they need crushers into that. The vacant space is at the near post in front of the 6-yard area. It is always open on their corner kicks. I hope the Orlando Pirates technical team, the tactical analyst they're able to say that. Now, look at their dangerous players. I've just picked up 3 because of the game model of the team. I think I've mentioned the center back number 27. That is a deep lying player maker that is able to play. He's able to play. He's brilliant with his long passing game. I think we've seen Orlando Pirates, CBC doing it. Botogi doing it. Even Mbogazi doing it. Those balls that are played over the defensive line. And those diagonal balls that are able to get into the left back. The left back, Umiwen Khalif, the number 3, also allows them and give them pace and power on the left hand side. He's got incredible speed, and he provides them the width that they need. Then obviously number 10, he's for me, he's their poster boy. He's if you remember Uthembi Nkosi, in Orlando Pirates days, that's the player that he is. But yeah, those 3 players for me I picked them up simply because they enable the team's game model and they make the team look a little bit better. They are the cog and the key into how MC Alger play. If I were to warn Orlando Pirates against MC Alger, I will give them pointers. Number 1, don't play a high line. Number 2, don't play a 2-2 rest defense, because they are very quick and very lethal on transition. Don't make fouls near the 18 area because they've got very good headers off the ball. Guard the far post, because even from corner kicks, they have a tendency that when they get into the crossing zone, they've got early crosses, and at times when they get into the crossing zone, they always look to play the ball into the far post. Also guard the front of the 6-yard area on corner kicks, because they crush that area aggressively. Stop the number 27 from being their ball playing player maker, right? Pin their left back number 3 and don't allow him to go up. Don't allow balls to be played over the defensive line. Don't allow runs in the shoulders of the defenders. Stay compact and stay narrow. And last one of them all, start with the same formation and set up that you played against Sundowns, because in the first leg, this is a game that is going to make you win. Perfect. If there's anything I missed in this particular video, please let me know. Let's comment, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Danko Bafeto.